Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. It's Monday, which means it is once again time for yet another one of our viewer specials, which I've definitely noticed, especially in like the last month or two, has been becoming a favorite, it seems like, of the channel. I'm always getting a ton of submissions on the Discord there from you all, and the YouTube comments as well. And there's always a lot of enthusiasm in the comments of these videos too. And I just want to say that really means a lot, because I was a little anxious when I very first started this series. I've actually been running this series for most of the time I've been running Master Duel videos on the channel, but yeah, I was really nervous when I first started this that not enough people were going to submit for me to be able to do this series, to show like 3 duels a week from you all, but I've never ever once had that issue. So just thank you all. For those of you who are new to the program, maybe you haven't been here before, what we do is once a week on Mondays, I show replays from you all, the viewers. It's a nice chance to make us feel like a bit more of a community. I mean, not that we don't already. We've got the Discord there, which, by the way, if you want to submit replays, I definitely recommend going to the description below, clicking that invite link to my Discord. It's free to join. Hundreds of players are already there, and we are always having a lot of good discussions. And as I was saying, there is a channel there that is dedicated to viewer special submissions. So I do check the YouTube comments occasionally as well, but I would highly recommend going to the Discord. That is definitely the best place to submit. But yeah, it's like it's cool. We get to come together as a community and cheer on each other at our cool duels. It's also a good chance to showcase some decks and or strategies that I don't normally feature on the channel myself. Plus, again, you are just so awesome that I feel like giving you all the chance to show off what you can do is like quite literally the least I could do for you all in return. So thank you all very much just for being here, for watching, for submitting, and all that fun stuff. So if you do want to submit, again, like I said, I definitely recommend going to the Discord, link in the description below to do that. The main bit of information I will be needing for you is your 9-digit player ID, so that way I can type it in and then see your publicly saved replays. Do make sure that you are publicly saving them. If they're not publicly saved, I'm not able to view and then show them. The other thing too, when you're leaving this info that's pretty helpful, is if you want to leave just a little blurb about the game. It could even be as simple as I played this deck versus this deck. That's 100% fine. Very helpful. But even if you want to go into a bit more detail, that's also very helpful, of like talking a bit about how the game went and all that fun stuff. So and like I said, we do this every single week, so if you didn't get in this week, there is always the next week. Plus, I do watch pretty much everything that gets submitted, whether it gets featured or not. So know that even if I didn't feature your duel, I very likely did watch it. Plus, there's a lot of the time, especially if it's a deck that I play or I am interested in, I'll just go in and watch some other replays that weren't even submitted, just to like kind of see if there's anything else cool. So yeah, I mean, if nothing else, know that I probably watched just about all the replays you've got saved, or at least the one that you submitted there. But in any case, let's go ahead and check out some of the duels that are going to be featured for this week. Okay, so this week's first game is going to come to us from Excelor. Excelor has a game where they are playing, they're playing Joshua Schmidt's Runick Bystial deck, the one that won the YCS recently, and I believe we're going to take a look at this game right here. So I'm very eager to see this deck in action. Also, definitely props for trying it out, even though... I mean, I was going to actually try it out, even though Fountain's only at 1 as well. I was kind of thinking about it, but... I was talking about this on Twitter. Like, it's such a shame that Runick Fountain has to be at 1 in Master Duel for the sins of Runick Stun, the variant least hurt by it, and now cool decks like this are going to have like a much more difficult time performing. I've said this many times, I'll just mention it briefly here. Runick Fountain does not create non-games. Runick Fountain and Runick elevate rogue decks, archetypes, and strategies, and even create new ones to competitive success. Floodgates create non-games. If you cheered at Fountain going to 1 because you hate non-games, you cheered at the wrong hit. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at this cool deck here. We're going to start off with a Smiting Storm. We've got the Duality too, which means we have access to our Tuners and our Unicorn this way as well. We do, I believe, if we take a look at the extract here, we should be on the Fabled Unicorn, which is a very cool card you can Duality into. Yeah, it's this one here. So, Fabled Unicorn. A lot of you might not be familiar with this card. This is a card that came up in some crazy combo decks that I would try back in the day, like back when this card, not like first came out, but closer to it. Basically, this is a continuous effect that has the ability to negate and destroy all cards and effects activated by your opponent. And because it is a continuous effect, it does not activate, meaning it can't be like chained to, it can't be negated, or all that fun stuff, at least if I'm remembering and reading this correctly. The thing is, it's only applicable while you and your opponent have the same number of cards in hand, which is actually an easier condition to fulfill than you might think. But looks like we're about to see the deck's other duality target here. Duality, by the way, letting us dodge the Imperm here on the Hugin, and that is going to be Alvain, the Essence of Vanity. Access to a Fusion level 2 tuner is quite good, quite good. We do get to bring out our Runick fountain here. Go for a tip for the Jerry fountain. F is going to allow us to get the nice draw 3 there. And I see some people saying too, like, well, no, fountain need to go to 1 because draw 3 is too good. And it's like, it's only within the scope of its archetype. And you also realize that this archetype gives up its battle phase to be able to do that, right? Anyway. Alright, so we get to, ooh, we find the Branded Regain here. That's a really, really good draw. Holy shit. We get to Golden Droplet for the Jerry, syncing that with the Coral Dragon for our 10. I imagine, yep, that's going to be Baron de Fleur. Coral Dragon F to draw yet another card. We get to Magnum Hunt to banish the Jerry and summon and search and also draw another card. This deck seems really, really sweet. I might just play this. Well, I would need the Dualities and the Unicorn. But that's not like too much. I want to try this. Like, I want to try this deck. This looks like a really fun and cool deck. We get to add the Druiswarm here. So do we have a level 8 target? Oh, we do. Oh, do we ever have level 8 targets for Duality? I mean, this isn't a quick effect, but we do have the Cyframe Lord Omega. Oh, but that's light. We have to go into the opposite attribute, right? So with Lubellion, we would have to go into... We'd have to go... Well, we could go into Chaos. Oh, we could go into Chaos Ruler on their turn and excavate. That's cute. Looks like our opponent is going to be on Cashier. Actually, hang on. I missed a little bit of that interaction. I kind of talked over it as I was reveling in how cool of a card Duality is. But so looks like they started off by activating Birth. We chained the Slumber. Okay, then they activated Scareclaw Cache, and we Baron to negate and destroy it. Got it. Okay. So now they're bringing out the Fenrir. Okay, we're dualitying... Oh, no. This is where we're going for the Unicorn. I see. And now we can summon Druiswarm, and that'll just negate all their stuff. Yep. Yep, here it is. Oh my god. Yeah, I was too busy focused on using the Lubellion as a duality material. I didn't even think about... Well, I think you actually mentioned in your blurb. There it goes, yep. See, Fabled Unicorn negated and destroyed that without even activating. It did that little animation that Hugin also does. When Hugin actually went back into the extra deck, but you know how when Hugin protects something from being destroyed, it's not like an effect that is activated or that you can chain to. It just kind of goes. Fabled Unicorn's negation and destroying of everything is the same way. It's ridiculous. Although, they do actually function a little bit differently. This is a fulfillment of a condition, and this is more of a continuous effect. I guess that is also fulfilling its condition, so that's kind of why you can't chain to it. It's, I don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh's fucking weird. Anyway. So we do have to Ash Blossom the Fenrir here to make sure that we're staying at 2 cards in hand. And it's, oh my god, actually, wait a second. You get all cards and effects activated by your opponent, but this card effect is activated to negate that effect. So, you might be wondering, because Ash Blossom negated the Fenrir, and then Unicorn negated and destroyed it anyway. I think the reason that happened is the same reason that Ash Blossom works against Branded Fusion even if Branded lost his up. Because it wasn't the activation that was stopped, it was the effect. And Unicorn says, they get all cards and effects activated by your opponent, and if you do, destroy those cards. So I think they both negated it? That was interesting, yeah. Discard, negate, apply effect, negate. Because even though Fenrir's effect was negated by the first thing, by the Ash Blossom, it's still activated. And Unicorn says, negate all cards and effects activated by your opponent, and if you do, destroy. But Unicorn didn't negate it, so was the end if you do just the fact that it was negated by Ash Blossom? That's a very interesting interaction. Unicorn is kind of like a rulings machine. It's one of those cards. So... Okay, so the opponent did manage to get all the cards out of their hand, but we had the freezing curses for the Unicorn there, so like, now it kind of just doesn't matter if we're not negating everything with Fabled Unicorn anymore. Although Freezing Curse does negate for the whole turn, so that's why Unicorn was negated still there. They will still get to go into a rank 7 here. Looks like it's a Red Eyes and Flare Metal. It's like, God, that's just not going to be enough. Not against a board like this. Oh, they get to Zeus, but even then we have a full hand now. Well, going into 5 cards. That's debatably a full hand. I guess well, now it's definitely a full hand. I was about to say it depends if you define a full hand as 5 or 6, but Druistorm was part of that board, so it just gets to send the Zeus there. We get to add off the Magnum Hut because we did summon that this turn, and then yeah, now we're going into drawing a card for turn, so having 7 cards to our opponent's literal nothing on hand or field. This deck is really, really cool, and I want to thank you very much for showing it. Maybe with Fountain at 1, it is actually still viable enough to see a good amount of competitive success. I will say, Fountain to 1 might be one of those hits that keeps Runick from being played, even though it might actually still be more playable than a lot of us suspect. It just really sucks that Fountain is at 1. It could very easily be at 2. They could have put there can be only 1 at 1, and or maybe hit some other floodgates, but they didn't, so we got a mediocre hit. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out the next game here. Alright, our next duel is coming to us from Toadette. Toad, we all know Toad by this point, right? Let's go ahead and see their game here against Alucard. Toad is going to be on Tri-Zoo, which I haven't gotten back into just yet, but it is definitely on my radar with the new Zodiac support. So, for those of you who may not know, Tri-Brigade Zodiac was like literally my first ever Master Duel deck, and it was the first one I ever showcased on YouTube, and it was that video that somehow ended up getting over 100,000 views, even though my audio quality and general presence were terrible. That actually led me to doing Master Duel videos on YouTube. So, fun little bit of Hex lore for those who weren't aware. But oh my god! And speaking of going back to like the first era of Master Duel, we got our opponent activating the field spell for the Alistair the Invoker here. No invocation for them though. Joel and Lockbird is going to make sure of that. Although, you know, we all know this deck. They probably just have the invocation hand anyway. Actually, they probably do. Yep. There it is. Although we do get to DD Crow the Alistair here. So that means no Makaba coming down. Makaba, I believe, that's the one that's Alistair plus a light, right? That's the one that banishes. Oh, but they still get to fuse. Oh, they get to just make a Winda anyway with the stuff in their hand. That's pretty gross. Okay, well. Yeah, them banishing... Actually, banishing the DD Crow kind of very slightly might matter here, because it is a tri-type, but... Tri-type, for those who don't know, being the 3 types that tri-brigades care about. Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast. So, if you ever hear me refer to a card as tri-type, it's one of those 3. God, I haven't had to explain that in so long. Honestly, just watching this duel and talking about it really makes me want to get back into Tri-Zoo. This deck's really cool. I really like Tri-Zoo. Tri-Brigade in general is such a fun archetype. Plus, Tri-Brigade is such a fair archetype. Like, it's one of those archetypes that's really good, but also really fair in what it does. Okay, so let's see. We went for... Hang on, I was kind of talking over that turn a little bit. Alright, we activated Fractal. Fractal's in Kit. Kit's in Nerval. Add Chaos. Normal Summon Kit. Banish for Rugal. And then Battle. We could have, however... If we had spaced out our banishes from the graveyard a little bit, I'm only saying this because Toad actually mentioned in their blurb that they're pretty new to Tri-Zoo, like this was their first like play session with it, so excuse me. What I think I would have done here a little bit differently is I think rather than using Kit to banish all 3 of our stuff and then just going into Rugal, we could have like spread out our Tri-Brigade effects into like multiple Link 2s, right? So if we would have kept those 3 in graveyard with Kit on the field, we could have also special Chaos pitching this. That would have given us a total of 4 tri-type materials in our graveyard. And then from there, we can make multiple Link 2s. We could potentially go into Farigite. Well, we don't really have anything else to summon in hand as a thing, but I think we could have set up an OTK. Well, we have the Winda, though. That's the problem. That's the main thing. Never mind, JK. Well, we could have still Sure-Egged, actually. We could have set up the 4 tri-types in the graveyard, banished all 4 for Sure-Egg, right? Sure-Egg banishes Winda, and then we have these 2 that we might be able to link off for something, like... No, I mean, to be fair, Farigite and Bearworm don't really do much, although, if we're not going to OTK this turn, I'm just thinking out loud at this point. So we had those 3 in the graveyard. We activate Chaos, discard Zodiac Thoroughblade, use either one of their 2 effects to banish all 4 for Shurig. Shurig F to banish the Winda. At that point, we probably battle, because I think 4900 is probably the most amount of damage that we do if we do it this way. We link off the Kit and the Karos then for the Bearbrum. We can link Bearbrum and Shurig off for Ferrijit, and then we can cycle the Droll for the Revolt. That's now fully set up. I think we could have done it that way. I think. I'm very rusty with this deck, so I might be like kind of misremembering or something, but I'm pretty sure that would have worked. Okay, so it looks like they're gonna make a construct. Wow, so this really is like IDS, Invoke Dogmatica. Well, I guess. Well, yeah, no, they just said the Dogmatica card, right? Wasn't that an Ecclesia they sent? Yeah, it really is Invoked Dogmatica shit all. Are we sure this game is from December 2023? This is like very much a January 2022 duel right here, which again I'm totally here for. I'm like super nostalgic for this right now, actually. Okay, Kit F gonna send the Nerval. Nerval F will allow us to add the Fractal. Yep, battling over the Thoroughblade. Ooh, that thrust was not a bad draw here. Okay, Fractal send Nerval. Nerval add Fractal. Just getting more tri-types in our yard, that makes sense. Summon Karos, banish 4 for the Shurig, yep. Shurig F is going to banish, I imagine, the Winda, makes sense. Now we're linking the 2 off for... this is Bearbrum, right? Or no, this is Ferrijit. Let's try to remember based on the arrows. Oh yeah, and also if we would have linked off for Bearbrum, we would have also gotten Shurig's F, which definitely would have been, yeah. That's another thing I forgot about, actually, when describing that line earlier. Okay, now Bearbrum and Ferrijit are going for access code, this looks like? Yeah. Oh, that Royal Access Code, it's so pretty. I'm so jealous. I wanted one of those so badly. I won't complain about the Royal number 90 I got from that event, though. It's pretty nice. I also got that Royal... Oh, that's right. You also mentioned that we're playing Tri-Brigade Roar. So one thing I will say that I failed to assess about this card when I first evaluated it is that you can actually send other copies of Tri-Brigade Roar for Roar's effect. So... using this to negate monster effects, I just remember somebody when this pack came out asked me if this card was good in Tri-Brigade, and I said no. But I did fail to evaluate that part of it, that you can just send another copy of Roar to get the negate effect. So this card actually not quite as bad as I might have made it out to be at first. It does actually have some turn 1 applications setting it, and then again, using it to send another copy. So that's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. Again, if I just failed, or if I just not failed to read it properly. But it's all good. They're going to wheel back the Shaddoll Fusion to their hand, that's fine. Going to smack them for a lot of damage, not quite lethal though, but we do have the Revolt and the Roar and the Droll, so that's Disruption, that's a negate, and that's only 1 search for them for their turn. Looks like they're going to lead with the Feather Duster, which will force the Revolt now. Definitely less than ideal, but... yeah, bringing back all of our banished Tri-Brigades. We'll get to cycle with the draw there as well. Let's see. Yep, there's the Duster. Getting rid of our stuff. Ferrijit and then Nerval. Makes sense. We're going to search and then do the draw effect. Oh, we get to banish our field spell. That's cute. We do have something to banish. That's good. But yeah, whenever I'm like... one of the things I like to look for, I don't think we could have actually OTK'd our opponent because they had Winda on the field on our first turn, which was I think turn 2, right? Yeah. But if you are looking to OTK with Tri-Brigade, this is the way to do it. Access code plus Shurig. I just kind of look to see if it's possible to set that up. And it's usually not that difficult, honestly. Essentially, like, I guess the idea really is setting up enough tri-types in the grave and then having access to 2 Tri-Brigade effects, right? Because the first one you can banish 3 to summon Rugal, and then you can link those 2 into access code, and then you just need the second Tri-Brigade effect to banish It could even banish another 3, honestly, if you have another Link 3, or it could just banish 4 directly for the Shureg, which might sound like a lot of setting up, but also remember that when you link off the Rugal and the 1 for the access code, that's already putting 2 more tri-types in your graveyard. So basically, you need to have a total of 5, I think, set up with 2 on the field, or is it 4? If you have 4, you banish 3. It's 5, because it's 5 if you want to banish 4 on the second one for the Shureg. Because you would have 5 set up in the yard, the 2 on the field, the 1 tri-brigade banishes 3 in the yard for the Rugal, then boom, boom, you have 2 in the yard, and then put another 2 in there, and then, yeah, you summon the Shureg. So, yeah, oh my god, thank you so much for submitting that Duel Toad. That was like, oh my god, I haven't thought about Tri-Zoo this much in far too long, and just watching this game and thinking about the deck definitely makes me want to play it again, too. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and see our last duel for this week's video. Alright, our last duel for this video comes to us from Kinohara, who has a game, I believe we're going to see this one here, where they were playing against Branded with, I can't remember if you said Manadium or a Visus Pile. Somebody said they had a Visus Pile, but I don't remember if that was you or somebody else. But I imagine a Visus Pile is pretty close to a Manadium deck. Oh, you're playing the Bystial stuff. That's right. Actually, I was just playing the Manadiums with Bystials recently. I don't think I was on Beast, if I recall correctly, but I was doing that just last night. Okay, yeah, this is definitely... Ooh. This is a cool... This is cool. Oh my god, I can't wait to see what's going on. This is definitely not what I expected to see with the extra deck here, but hell yeah, let's see it. Let's check this out. We're going to start with the Imaginings. Putting back the Royal Rimheart, by the way. Very, very pretty. Or not, we're putting it back. We're just revealing it. Putting back the Branded Beast. Imaginings, very, very good card. God, you have multiple good Royals here, actually. As I said, multiple good Royals here. Can I have your Royal luck, please? Alright, looks like we're sinking Rimheart and Saronir for the Dissipator. That's interesting. Can't wait to see where this goes here. Saronir is going to send the Lubellion. Okay, then we get to Magnum Hut, banishing the Saronir to summon the Magnum Hut. Magnum Hut F to search, and then Saronir is going to bring back, or Dissipator is going to bring back Saronir. Visus pops Magnum Hut, summoning itself. Now we're going for the Scareclaw line, right? Yep, here's a Lightheart. Lightheart F for the planet. The planet. Getting the Reichheart. Oh no, Reichphobia. I always call Reichphobia Reichheart because it's pretty much the same thing. They lead to the same thing, I guess I should say. Alright, we got the Branded, Regained, Imaginings popping, or Abscission rather, popping the... Wait, it popped the Tri-Heart, right? Yeah. Going for the Baron. We didn't bring Tri-Heart back when Visus was on the field, though. I think we missed a material. Possibly. Although, unless we're going to use it later. Which could very easily be the case. Oh yeah, I think we're about to use it right now. Yep, because Abscission, something Visus. There it is, okay. I should have just trusted you. I should have known that you would know. Ah, and then here's the Scareclaw Tri-Heart. Ah, this is cool. I want to pull one of these. I want to pull for one of these, or 2 of them. I want to build Scareclaw. It's like, I've said this before, if you have everything from Manadium, you're only 1 or 2 Tri-Hearts away from just playing Scareclaw too, so it's like, there's no reason not to. Looks like they're going for the Albaz, but that will not be able to fuse with the Tri-Heart. Oh, okay, but we chain blocked. Okay, so you talked about this. Yeah. You did mention this in your little blurb. You said that there was a point where you misplayed due to a chain block, and I see that's where this was now. Because we used the Branded Regained, we couldn't chain the Baron effect to Albaz to negate and destroy it, which let our opponent get the Mirror Jade. Which, you know, it's a very easy misplay to make. It's like, the game asks you right up front, like, oh, do you want a Regained? It looks like they had Super Poly here anyway, but yeah, the game asks you right up front, like, oh, do you want to activate Branded Regain? It's really easy to click yes, and then after you do, realize, like, oh, wait a second, I was supposed to, yeah, negate. It's something I've done. I do it, like, not regularly, but, like, every so often. You know what I mean? It's not like every play session I'm doing it once, but, you know, every now and then. I mean, hell, I make enough misplays on stream. So... Looks like we do have the Ash for the Branded Fusion, which is good here. They're going to follow up with the Branded Opening for the Quem. Quem is a really scary card. Like, Quem opens up what Branded can do by so much, it's kind of ridiculous, honestly. And it's so accessible, too, off of stuff like Branded opening, but... And, like, the Titaniclad. Alright, we do get to draw a card, if nothing else here. Oh my god, we're on the Visus pile. We have Rise Heart and everything. Actually, yeah, because we had the Cashier. I didn't even acknowledge that. We have the Cashier stuff in the extra deck, too. We really are doing, like, every Visus deck here. Except kind of tier limit, but it's kind of hard to work in tier limit with everything else, I imagine. You have branded stuff going on here, though. A Fenrir F for the Unicorn. Summoning the Druistorm, banishing their Cartesia, getting young Cartesia out of there. We get to drop the Vicious Astrolabe. I fucking love this card. It's so good. It's so easy to come back with this deck because of Vicious Astrolabe. Like, that's the thing. You expect, like, Monodium is one of those decks you would expect to be like other long-form combo decks where, like, it does struggle a bit if it gets disrupted turn 1, but those kind of decks also sometimes tend to struggle a bit if they have to go second, like actually doing their combo through a board. But with Monodium, you can just, like, if your combo gets disrupted and your stuff is in the graveyard, you're just like, alright, summon Astrolabe, pop your biggest thing, make my Astrolabe super big. Like, even that by itself already immediately swings the favor of the board state towards you, but, like, a lot of the times it's also enough to just, like, keep going with your plays, too. That's the other thing about Monodium, is that, like, it just keeps going. Or I guess in this case, a Visus pile, but, like, all the same. Well, not all the same. This deck is definitely different. As we see with the extra deck. And yeah, also the fact that you can summon and activate multiple Astrolabes per turn is like, what? That does not feel like it should be allowable, but it is. Oh, we could have exact lethal them. Not that that matters. I just noticed things like that. But anyway. Whew, that was a great duel. Thank you very much for showing that off, Kino. And thank you everybody, once again, who submitted to the viewer special. Again, if your game did not make it into the actual video itself, know that, one, I more than likely did watch it, as well as probably some of your other replays too. And two, there is always next Monday. There is always the next week, because we're always going to keep going with this series. But then I'll go ahead and do it for now. Let's move to our outro. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching it all the way to the very end. That means a whole lot to me, and it's also a fantastic way to support the channel. And if you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways besides YouTube, there are plenty of ways to do that. If you check out the description below, you'll find a bunch of links down there. One of them goes to my Patreon. You're actually seeing the names of everyone subscribed to the Patreon on the screen right now. So if you're interested in getting your name in the credits here at the end, if you want to see more daily Master Duel content, or if you're interested in one-on-one private coaching sessions, I offer all of that on Patreon. I also stream live on Twitch. Feel free to go ahead and click that link and follow and or subscribe there. I also have the Discord community, if you want to follow that link, where hundreds of duelists have already signed up. Free to join, and you can just come hang out, talk about the game, and chill in general. Final link that's going to be in the description is my Twitter. You can follow that if you want some more notifications of what's happening with the channel. So, all in all, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.